reason I ended up doing this painting was really because a major collector for years was telling me about the Grateful Dead and that I should know who they are, and even invited me to concerts that I didn't go to because I'm not a guy that does that kind of thing. He kept on sending me books, and then he'd send me records. He said, just listen to a few of the things. And I actually, I started to get interested in the music. I said, wow, this is not a regular group. I mean, I was kind of hooked on the very first concert. I began to say, wow, there's something nice. The entire atmosphere was interesting. By the time I had gone to the 2 concerts in New York and then 2 in California, I had really gotten into talking to deadheads. I mean, everything was deadhead to me by that time. And I was fascinated that I was becoming really part of the cult because I'm doing this painting, but also everyone that I was talking to, they all had a story about the Grateful Dead. The size and shape of a canvas is important to the subject. The scope had to be pretty big, and I had to have a feeling of being large. I was painting a universe. I was painting the Grateful Dead universe. And the reason that it's in 3 sections is, you would call it a triptych. I thought of Bosch's Garden of Earthly Delights. It had to be in 3 parts, but the pieces are separate. If you're looking at the bottom, you'll see that it kind of all works as one. But the sky becomes important because that's what frames it in these different periods, right? I realized I didn't want to have 3 separate sections, and I couldn't do it arbitrarily. You just make it with canvas and make it line down. So I did it that way. It was done in 3 sections and then kind of pulled together. The bottom really doesn't look like 3 sections, and the top does. And I think that any triptych does have a kind of a religious element to it. 5 guys, but that wasn't about the 5 guys. It was about their if you want to call it a cult, if you want to call it a religion, you want to call it, and if it's a religion, it's the best religion in the sense that it was a group that all had one main thing in common, and was that they loved that music, and that's what they came for. Those 3 elements in the top part of the painting, they're important because it signifies time, but also the beginning and sort of the end. The setting in nature, you've got the sun reflecting when they started in '65, and you've got the green globe of hope. It's like the positive aspect of the dead in general, and then you got the night. The 3rd panel in this painting became the most important for me because in the process is that it's not like you say, oh, I know exactly what I'm going to do. I didn't know what to do. I was going to do the sky, and I knew it had to be night. But then the idea of putting the skulls very subtly in there, so the whole 3rd panel, the sky is made of these skulls. And when I thought of that, I couldn't wait to get into the studio to start doing that. And then, of course, you have to have a moon. It has to be Jerry Garcia, but I couldn't do a portrait of him in the moon. I just had to do with little darks and lights and get a kind of a sense. But I thought that was important, that his presence will always be in the band, whether he's playing or not. If I look at my career at this point, this painting kind of encompasses a lot of what I've done over the years. So there's portraits, there's landscape, there's music. I've done many music paintings, just painting music. Everything that I have done as an artist came into play. It just made it more interesting for me to put the pieces together. If I had done this painting as a deadhead, I don't think I could have done it this way. It would have limited my way of thinking about, I would have had a narrower view of what the band was. And I don't think it would have expanded it to a kind of overall universe the way I think this painting ends up being. But I would say, in some ways, I'm the ultimate deadhead. Having gone through this experience of a year or more doing this painting and getting involved with the characters in a way that it just was like an uplifting thing. So all my experiences with the dead were positive.